Hiya.
Hello.
Welcome to the Geeky Girls Knit Podcast. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl.
I'm Dammy, also known as Jammy's Doodles.
And we're glad to have you today. And our shadows welcome you too. Like the lighting in here in our living room is really weird. So there's not like this is totally off subject. I haven't even welcomed y'all, but you're going to hear it anyway. So in here in our like sitting room proper where we're recording, there's not a light. There's a light this direction, like at the front door, but it gives like this really weird glare on my face. There's no light that direction yet because we haven't bought a lamp. So I had Dammy turn on the hallway light, which is that direction, and that's what's giving our shadows. So our shadows welcome you. This is, today is Wednesday, the 14th of March, 2018, and this is episode 285. We'd like to say a big welcome back. We love you guys, to all our returning viewers, and a big hiya to any new viewers. Thanks for giving us a shot. We hope you enjoy the show. Dammy, we had some people introduce themselves this week. Why don't you give them a shout out?
Okay. Sarah, who is Sarah Tastefully from Ohio. Betsy, who is Hobby Collector from South Dakota. And Janine, who is, what is that?
It's Kimmy.
Kimmy 1007 from Washington.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you guys. Thanks for introducing yourselves. I typed this in the introductions thread, but this is how like crazy my brain was last week. So, you know, I welcome people in the introduction thread when they introduce themselves, and Janine, she introduced herself, and I saw like her name, and I'm looking at the picture, and I'm like, gosh, she looks familiar. Like, who is this? And I'm like starting to read more, and I realized that it's like really a real friend, real life friend here in Bremerton that we know. I don't think I had enough coffee yet that morning. So anyway, it made me laugh. So Dammy, what should people do if they're not members of the Ravelry group?
You should join and introduce yourself in our introductions thread because you'll get a shout out on our next episode and to be able to participate in all our owls and giveaways.
That's right. Okay, well, we have quite a bit to talk about today, including a review of the new Pom Pom Quarterly, which y'all know is like my favorite magazine ever. So we probably should get started. Here we go.
Now we're going to talk about what is on our needles.
What is on your needles, Dammy?
I am working on my last sample for our Tickled Pink book. This is the Tickled Pink wrap, and it's on US 3s, 3.25 millimeters. Yarn is Seven Sisters Arts, and I can't show you, but I am working on it frantically because I need to have it finished like at the latest by Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, because it's going to be the biggest, so it will take a while to dry when it's blocking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on it frantically, but it's like a really simple pattern. So
it's just got a long repeat.
Yeah.
So, but it's beautiful. I love how it's turning out. I wrote this down a while ago, but something else we have to do is actually make up names for these patterns because we've just been calling them like the wrap or the Suburban Stitchers socks or, you know, whatever, just because we have yarn from Suburban Stitcher, Seven Sisters Arts, Neighborhood Fiber Co., and Abstract Fiber. So, okay, so we're going to talk more, if you will wait till the last segment before the credits, we will talk about the pre-orders for the book in that segment. So, all right, Dammy, anything else you're working on?
No, so what are you working on?
Well, first I'm working on my 10-stitch zigzag blanket, which, let me just tell you the full name again, that I have named it, because sometimes you just got to do that. It is the When You Think I'll Zig, I'll Zag. Then when you think I'm going to zag, I do zag just to mess you up for the next time when I might zig blanket. Gilmore Girls reference. 10 points that don't count for anything if you knew that. So this is the 10-stitch zigzag blanket by Frankie Brown. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I'm on US 4s, 3.5 mil needles. And the yarn I'm using, I don't know what it is. It was gifted to me without a label, but it's kind of a, as you're seeing in the picture, it's kind of a mustardy yellow with a silver stellina in it. And I think last night I knit maybe number 14 of 20 in the stripe. I got behind because of all the chaos of last week, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. But I, like, one night I sat and knit like 3 of them, and then another night I sat and knit like 2 of them, so I think I'm caught up. And then the other thing I'm working on, which I'm going to bind off in this episode because I'm ready to bind off, is another pair of shorty fingerless mitts. This is pair number 9, and these ones are for Dammy. So this incorporates the leftover sock yarn mitts pattern by Jean Stevenson. All of the notes for how to knit this, that's a free pattern. All the notes for how I knit it are in the project pages on Ravelry. I'm on US 3.25 mil needles, and this pair actually is a 3-color one. I'm using Knit Picks palette in the Oyster Heather almond, almond. That's really funny. I don't know. Like, maybe I just like, I don't know. And Oregon Coast Heather colorway. So the first mitt is done. So Dammy really wanted some using this color because this is so pretty. This is the Oregon one. So there's mitt number 1. Mitt number 2, I am on the bind off row, but this is all the yarn I have. So I'm playing yarn chicken. If I have to add in one of the other colors to finish binding off, it's not a big deal because it rolls, and so you won't see the bind off. Do you know what I mean? She's counting. So yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I'm gonna bind this off right now while we're talking. And like I said, this is a 3-color pair, so I had to modify my pattern just a little bit because I wanted it to be equal stripes. And so there's an extra row before the thumb and an extra row after the thumb just to make it into 6 round segments all the way up. So, and when I finish this one, I will cast on another pair, again using the same yarn in Wheat Heather and White. I am gifting these to several friends. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. To several friends who have been helping us since we've been here, whether it's you know, furniture that they've given to us or other things they've given to us or hosting us in their home or whatever. So I'm kind of doing these as a thank you. But Dammy really wanted to pair with the Oregon colorway. Can you see how pretty that is? I may have to just like buy just that colorway and do something because it's so pretty. I love the color in it. Okay, I'm rambling now. That's all that's on my needles right now. I need to cast on a pair of socks because somebody's birthday is coming up in about a month and a half. Somebody who's not in this room but is in the next room. He's looking at me.
The sheep, of course.
The sheep, no, the hubs. He's back there eating breakfast. Yeah, I need to cast those on too. All right, that's everything. I'm rambling. Let's move on to the next segment.
Now we're going to talk about our finished projects.
What did you finish this week, Dammy?
I finished my 3rd of 4 samples for our new Tickled Pink book. This was the Tickled Pink and Green Cowl on US 4s, 3.5 millimeters, and the yarn was Abstract Fiber and Malrigo Sock. And the end of it looks a little funny right now, but once I block it, it'll all bloom and straighten out and it'll look fine.
What do you mean it looks funny?
Like, because I did ribbing and then a surprisingly stretchy bind off, but it's a lot of stitches, so it makes it look kind of funny. But once I weave in the end and then pin it to block it out, it'll look okay. The cast on and the end will look the same.
Okay, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Okay, did you finish anything else?
No, so what did you finish?
Okay, so 2 of these items I don't have because I've already gifted them, and they are my Shorty Fingerless Mitts pair 7 and pair 8, which it's all the same thing, info that I just told you in the last segment, except for the colors. So pair 7 was white and almond. Is that what I'm about to knit? No, I'm about to do white and wheat, Heather. And the wheat. And pair 8 was palette in the Oyster Heather colorway, and then Ginger's hand-dyed BFL Rock Sock in the Birdie on the Shoulder colorway. So those were pairs number 7 and 8 that I finished. And then the other thing that I finished is this week's preemie hat. When I did this, I had like this image that it was going to look differently, but it's okay. So this is from my free top-down preemie hat pattern on Ravelry. This is my 10th for the year on US 6s 4mm needles. And it's All About Yarn, Cuddly Owl Sock in the Green Gables and Carrots colorway, held doubled, which is the pom-pom and the stripe here. And Patton's UK Fab DK variegated in the raspberry colorway, and we have this conversation every time I use this yarn that I don't understand why this colorway is called raspberry. But I was like, oh, if I'm using like the carrots, it has similar to the yellow in the raspberry colorway, but it didn't. I mean, like, it does, but it just didn't turn out like I envisioned. But it's pretty, it's bright, and there will be some little babe will look adorable in this hat. And that's everything that I finished this week. So let's move on to the next segment. And now it's time for our favorite part of the show, Yummies. What are Yummies, Stanley?
Yummies are our current favorite things we like, things we want to talk to you about.
Yummies. So as I mentioned on last week's episode, my friend and mentor Tara Swiger was here visiting last week, and we taught a lot of essential oil workshops and did some one-on-ones and did some business training for the essential oil business, and met lots of lovely people and exhausted ourselves and drank a lot of coffee. Probably too much coffee. What? Yes, maybe too much coffee, but that's okay. But one of the places we went was a yarn shop that I had never been to before called Perfectly Knotty, Knotty.
Naughty. Say it like that.
Okay. And that is in Arlington, Washington, and is owned and run by the lovely Susie. And it is, as far as I know, according to Vogue Knitting Live, because she has an article about her in Vogue Knitting Live, not Vogue Knitting Live, Vogue Knitting Magazine, the new one that has Kristen Ritter on the front. I almost bought it.
Kristen Ritter.
So I said Kristen.
It sounded like you said Christian.
Oh no, Kristen Ritter on the front because she's a knitter. So did you see the video of Kristen Ritter on what's his name? Stephen Colbert, where she was trying to teach him how to knit.
Yes.
It was not successful. And those were humongous needles that she was using. But anyway, she's on the cover of the magazine, and in the magazine is an article about allergy conscious yarns. So her yarn shop is allergy friendly, and in that they don't carry wool, they carry other things that are more that can be used by people who have allergies to wool. So, but it's also an antique shop, which is really, really cool. And so I was looking around, and she had this lovely selection of teacups and saucers. And I'm going to show you this teacup, except for I split a stitch, but I fixed it. So this was a lone little teacup with these beautiful, beautiful pink flowers on it. And it is Duchess bone china from England. It has a tiny little crack here, and it didn't have its, oh look, I didn't even realize it had that beautiful detail on the handle. It didn't have a saucer, and but I really, really loved it, so I'm actually just going to use it on my desk to put stuff in. But it's so beautiful. Really, really love it. And then I got the hubs also a little like glass dish that's kind of shallow that he can put like his keys and wallet and stuff in on his dresser. So anyway, we had a great time. We visited lots of places. I had my first experience of Mighty O donuts, and they were so good. Yeah, I haven't spent a lot of time in like Seattle proper. And you know, we mainly have just like gone through when we're going to like the university to do stuff and things like that. So it was fun to so this was in the Capitol Hill area of Seattle. So it was really fun to just like explore and see what was there, and then hang out with Tara and talk about work stuff and all that stuff. So, yeah. So I'm trying to think, is there anything else this week that needs to go in Yummies? I just pulled my needle out of a stitch.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It was just a really busy work week. Okay, well then let's move on to our normal stuff. Let's talk about hashtag GGK Crafty Pad. What is it?
It stands for Geeky Girls Knit Crafty Photo a Day Challenge. We have a list of photo prompts for each month. So you take a look at the prompt for that day, take a picture related to it, and post it anywhere you like. But we pick our favorites from Instagram.
I lost at Yarn Chicken.
No.
I still have this many stitches to bind off. This many. I'm going to pull it back one so that I have enough to weave in. This month's prompt list is about colors, and I apologize. I have been very negligent in participating this week, but I'm going to try to get back to it. It was craziness this past week. So, what are we about to show them?
2 photos from us that we liked and 5 photos from other people that we liked.
Here come the photos. So those were our favorite photos. Great job, everybody. So it's never too late to join in. You just take a look at the prompts list. For example, today when we're recording on Wednesday, the 14th, today's prompt is fuchsia. You can interpret that however you wish. We are extremely cheater friendly on this. You take a picture, you post it on Instagram, make sure in your caption you use hashtag GGKCraftyPad, and yours might get chosen. If you have a private account on Instagram, you need to make sure and be in touch with Dammy to make sure she's following you, because she sorts through photos when we're picking our favorites. And so, because if you have a private account and she's not following you, she cannot see your photos. So, all right, well, I think we're ready to move on to the next segment.
To talk about what we are reading, watching, and listening to.
So what are you reading / listening to?
Yes. So I found an audiobook version of The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux.
Tell them the website, because we said the wrong one last week.
I was about to.
Oh, okay.
An audiobook version of The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. I think that's the right French way to pronounce it. On LibriVox, not Libsyn. Libsyn is a
podcast,
syndicated podcast site that the Knitmore girls use.
Yeah. So what is the correct one?
LibriVox.
I should put that in the show notes.
Voice of Books, I think, or something.
I'm going to just write it right here so that I can remember to put it in the show notes.
Yes. So, I don't remember what chapter.
Is that right?
Yes.
Like that? .com?
Yes.
Okay.
And so, I'm trying to remember what part I'm through. It's after the masquerade ball, after the chandelier has fallen.
Masquerade.
Yeah.
Have you been like singing the songs as you've gone through?
No.
Oh, okay.
But the guy pronounces Christine's last name wrong, unless the whole musical pronounces her last name wrong.
So how...
He's saying day,
okay,
but it's die, I think. I'm pretty sure, because it's Swedish, and there's 2 A's and an accent on the E.
Oh, okay.
But other than that.
Look, I finished your mitts.
Oh, wow.
So see, so there's, I mean, you can see the difference a little bit, but it's going to be rolled under like that, and so nobody will know except for us and all of y'all that are just watching this. Okay. It'll be a secret. Nobody needs to know.
So, I've made progress with Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
And then I'm also reading The Glass Scientist, which is a webcomic by Sabrina Kachungao.
Okay. And any fun things to say about that?
Not this week.
Okay. And you've been getting your 15 minutes in, I assume, since you have been listening to the audiobook.
Yes.
So what we're referencing there is we are continuing to host the January, February, March read-along. And your challenge is to read for 15 minutes a day. I don't care what you read, as long as you're reading. And we have like a quote-unquote FO thread in the Ravelry group where you post one time and then you edit your post as you're updating it. And you don't have to like post like every single day. You can like make notes and then like post it like once a week or whatever. And we will be closing that thread. How many days are there in March? Oh, calendar, tell us please, how many days are there in
31?
March? I think there's 31. Yes. So we will be locking the thread on the morning of April the 1st. This is no April Fool's joke. And you will
it's an Easter miracle.
It is. So you need to make sure to have everything posted by March 31st because we will lock that thread that morning, and then we will draw for prize winners on the next podcast after that. So prizes wise, so if you make it through 87 of the 90 days, you're going to be entered into 3 different giveaways. One is for one of our ebooks, and depending on how many people finish that, we may do more ebooks. And then Iggy Star is sponsoring a couple of prizes. You'll get a skein of Firefly inspired yarn with my Firefly sock pattern. And the other winner will get a skein of Doctor Who inspired yarn and one of my Doctor Who patterns. And everyone who finishes 87 days will get a 20% off a single pattern in our Ravelry store coupon code as well. If you finish 60 of the 90 days, you'll be entered into a giveaway for any one of our single patterns from our Ravelry store. Depending on, again, on how many people finish that, we may give away more single patterns. Details of all this are in the Ravelry group. I'd love some feedback in the chatter thread. Is this something y'all want to continue doing? So do you want to do quarterly read-along challenges? Because I'm happy to host those if you're interested. I just want to make sure there's interest so that, you know, there's people actually participating in it, which we have a lot of people participating in it right now, which is really, really awesome. And if you're posting about this on social media, the hashtag is GGKRAL18, Geeky Girls Knit Read Along 2018. Okay, what I've been reading. I'm reading Only Love Today by Rachel Macy Stafford. And this is one I think that I'll be reading like over time because I think I said last week it's in seasonal segments. And then there's like short, like 2 to 3 page things in, like essay thingies in each of the segments. And so I'm just reading like 2 or 3 a day. And then I'm still reading Being the Starfish by Neil Anderson. And I have a book ready to be picked up at the library today, a new nonfiction that I really, really have wanted to read. And so I've got to go pick that up today because I got a library card this week. I know. I should have done it like ages ago and I just didn't. Fiction-wise, most of these were from Kindle Unlimited. I'll tell you which ones weren't. So Murder Above the Fold, which is book number 1 in the new Elder Witch Cozy Mystery series by Regina Welling and Erin Lynn. I read that one, and obviously Cozy Mystery. I also read book number 13 in the Black Cat Cafe Cozy Mystery series. That was Cherry Berried Cake by Lindsay Cole. Finished that one. I read book number 1 in the Spellbound Ever After Paranormal Cozy Mystery series called Crazy for Brew. Crazy for Brew. By Annabelle Chase. And I read book number 57 in the A Shade of Vampire series called A Charge of Allies by Bella Forrest. That one was really good. I enjoyed that one a lot. So all of those are Kindle Unlimited. And then these other 3 are not, but I got them on sale. So at some point in the last couple weeks, and all 3 of these books are by the same author, Catherine Ray. So at some point in the last couple of weeks, A Portrait of Emily Price was on sale. And so I picked it up. And then I also picked up, she had a
bundle collection.
I guess collection. So it's like one ebook, but it's got 3 books in it. That is Dear Mr. Knightley, Lizzie and Jane, and the Bronte plot. And so what she has done is take aspects of a certain book or author's thing in literature and like use that, but in a modern day story. So, for example, I'm weaving in ends, that's why I'm looking down. For example, Dear Mr. Knightley is about a young woman who lost her parents and was in foster care and then ended up in like a group home situation, and she gets a scholarship grant to attend journalism school, but one of the stipulations is she has to write letters to the gentleman who has provided the scholarship, but they want it to be anonymous, so she doesn't know who she's writing to, so she writes to Dear Mr. Knightley. And there's like, he doesn't respond to the letters. It's just like, it's almost like a journal entry type thing. But then you'll see as the book, I don't want to give away the secret sauce because I kind of knew what was coming, but still it was like, oh wow. So, yeah, so that was really interesting. I'm reading Lizzie and Jane right now, which is about 2 sisters, and one of them is, they've been like, it's estranged, and one of them is in treatment for cancer, which is what their mom passed away from, and the other sister's having trouble like coping with that, as well as coping in her day-to-day life with the career she's chosen as a chef. And so yeah, so I'm reading that one. And A Portrait of Emily Price was about a woman who is an art restorer who meets a guy, and they fall in love very quickly, and then move back to where he's from, which is an international move for her, and knowing no one and not really knowing the language, and then she gets caught up in restoring some art, which causes some family stress, and yeah. So anyway, all 3 of these have been are really good, and I'm, like I said, I'm still reading Lizzie and Jane, and then I'll read a Bronte, the Bronte plot, I believe is what it's called. So I think you would enjoy these, is what I'm saying, and we have them in our Amazon account. So if you want some, it's not like super light reading, because there is, you know, some situations, but it's not anything that I would be like, oh no, don't read. I mean, it's yeah, it's more than light reading, but it's not like Phantom of the Opera reading. So so that is what I've been reading, as I've rambled on for 57 minutes, it feels like, about books. Watching. So I watched a Hallmark movie yesterday, actually, called Love Once and Always, and it was about this woman's great aunt left her family estate to her, as well as to the caretaker's son, like half and half, and the things that happen as they they had been in love years back, and all the drama ensues, and da-da-da. So yeah, so it was a pretty good one. And then I watched No Charmed this week. I did not have time. When Calls the Heart, Jack is back, and they're getting married, and the town bank is in trouble, and the whole town is trying to take over the wedding and trying to give them the wedding that they want for them, even though they prefer something simpler. But yeah. Okay, you talk for a little bit because I need coffee.
We are watching season 15 of NCIS. So Jack was a POW, and she's not doing well after a case involving a POW.
Yeah, that one was a really an emotional one. NCIS New Orleans season 4, the end with Pride playing the piano with his mom over the phone. So his mom doesn't really recognize who people are anymore, dementia or something, but he's playing the piano and trying to get her to do it along with him, and then she starts playing it, and they're playing together over the phone, and it was just really sweet. The Flash season 4, the world almost ended
Again.
Yeah, like this nuclear bomb.
Nuclear. Just look at how you spell it.
And the Hubs is putting in his 2 cents on how to pronounce it as well.
Nuclear.
Anyway, but so this was like a big portion of it was like that he was able to slow down speed because of time, because of being able to do the speed thing.
Speedy.
And then trying to figure out how to save everyone. And it was the 100th episode.
Ooh.
So they had... Wait, right? Am I thinking the right thing?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was 100th.
No, S.H.I.E.L.D. was 100th episode. But they did have, like, the Flash from another dimension, who is played by the guy who played the Flash in the 1990 series. He was back, and is that his name? Will's daughter was back, and yeah. Anyway, he saved the world. Spoiler. All right, Dammy, you talk about the next thing.
Okay, The Blacklist, season 5. Singleton is dead, but Liz knows who killed Tom. Oh. I suppose I should talk about this one too.
Yes.
Oh, the next two.
Yes.
Oh, wait, no, I want you to do the X-Files, because not the X-Files, Criminal Minds, because you wrote it. The X-Files, season 11, it was a good episode. It was true X-Files.
It was.
But it was creepy.
It was so
It was super
creepy.
Because TV characters in kid shows were coming to life through witchcraft and killing children and adults and people, and it was creepy.
It was creepy. But it was X-Files. Now, I was talking to Janine about this.
Yeah, she asked me about that one, but I was like, I haven't watched it yet. She was like, which was creepier, the one with the robots or that one? I was like, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah. So I was talking with her after we had watched it, and they were both really creepy, but in different ways. So
yeah, robots was more creepy, but it was also kind of funny because it was just so ridiculous.
Yes.
Whereas
this was just
demonic witchcraft, you're like, okay, this is like less likely to like actually happen, so you can suspend your disbelief.
Yes. The truth is out there. Okay, yes, I will talk about Criminal Minds because it was very dramatic for me.
It's so funny.
Oh my goodness. So we're watching season 13, and you guys know I have talked about previously. What's her real name?
Kim Rhodes.
Yes, how much I love Kim Rhodes, especially.
She was on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
She was, and especially her role in Supernatural, and then now with the spin-off show. But in this show, she is awful. Not an awful acting, awful character. So, she's a great big jerk with about 50 zillion exclamation
No, you wrote this
points.
in all caps.
I did. And she's breaking apart the BAU. Oh my goodness.
Bow.
She is forcing what's his name to retire.
Rossi
To retire, and like reassigning people, and what's his Spencer is gonna have to be a professor like full time, and
don't worry, it will all work out in the end.
it will all work out in the end.
Don't you worry.
Season 11 of The Big Bang Theory, Howard and Burnett are trying to decide if one of them should stay home with the kids instead of working. And drama ensues. Season 13 of Supernatural. This was a really cool episode. It was directed by Amanda Tapping of Stargate SG-1 and other Stargates as well. But it was a film noir style episode, and so it was really, really cool. And
was it in black and white?
No, it was not in black and white.
Oh.
But so remember I told you they needed to get 4 things in order to get their mom back?
1 pint of honey, 1 piece of stardust, 1 secret baptism, and a photo of a ghost.
No, not those.
I don't remember the Into the ones are.
So they got the blood of a most holy man. That was one of the things.
Who is most holy?
It was a priest.
Did they kill him?
No.
Oh, good.
No.
Oh, good. That's murder.
Yes. No, they did not kill him. Yeah.
We asked nicely, can we have your blood?
Well, I mean, like...
We're not vampires.
So, like, the skull of...
Dracula.
No, was it St. Peter or St. Paul? I think it was St. Paul. Had been stolen from a church, and the priest tried to get it back, and there was this whole thing about selling religious relics and all that, and then at the end,
how do they know it was Paul's skull?
I don't know.
You can't exactly that's the way with most religious artifacts. You can exactly do a facial recognition reconstruction on the skull, because we don't know what they look like.
Definitely. Okay, and then Arrow season 6. Roy is back.
Who's
and
Roy?
Roy is from early on in the series. He and Thea were a couple, and he also donned the Green Arrow's hood to take suspicion off Oliver, and he's been on the run for 2 years.
Oh.
But they're trying to, not Oliver, they're trying to force Roy to testify against Oliver, and they were the bad people. They were beating the crap out of him, trying to force him to testify, which was totally illegal because there's some police that are very bad. So, okay, why don't you talk about some stuff for a little while?
Okay. Can you turn the brightness up one?
Yes.
Okay, we're watching season 3 of Blind Spot. Patterson was seriously injured in a lab explosion, and she kept reliving the same day over and over while in a coma until she solved the case, and also Borden is alive.
Yes.
I didn't write that
I
down.
didn't write that down. Borden is alive. Oh my goodness, I was not expecting that.
I sort of had an inkling.
You had an inkling? Okay.
An inkling, and then, okay. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5. It was the 100th episode. You wrote this stuff about it. Coulson is dying. Fitzsimmons finally got married with, that's 20 exclamation points.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mike Peterson, a.k.a. Deathlock, was back. And I love him because he's Gunn from Angel. And
He is from Angel, yeah.
I said that while we were watching it.
Yes.
And Deke is Fitzsimmons' descendant.
Yes.
The grandson, great-grandson?
I think probably grandson.
I'm thinking probably great, actually, but I don't know.
They're done.
Thank you. I can wear them.
You can wear them.
I'm gonna wear them.
And I have a whole pile
Miles
of onions.
might try to take them. We'll see. I'll try not to get...
So, one of the boys... I think what's the oldest boy's name?
Jason, does he have a, buzz cut?
I think so. This is a family that Dammy babysits for, and she comes to my mom's group, and to the mom's group I go to. And so I gave her some of the mitts yesterday, and he co-opted them and was wearing them as arm warmers.
Yes, Jason has hair that sticks straight up because it's shorter, and him. Isaac has bigger eyes and longer hair.
I think. Yeah, I
and
don't
then
remember.
Miles is the baby. I'll try not to get Miles's orange food on them either.
Yes. We need to take a picture of them.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually going to not put these in next week's show notes since I finished them here on the podcast. So there is my fourth FO for the week.
Yay.
Yay.
You talk about Call the Midwife.
Oh my goodness. Call the Midwife. It was the Series 7 finale. All the tears, exclamation points. There was Barbara's funeral. And then in the midst of all this sadness, President Kennedy was assassinated. And then they
that means they'll probably, like, mention Doctor Who in the next series. Because the premiere happened on the exact same day of his assassination.
Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about that. And then it was Sister Monica Jones' birthday, and
I think Sister Monica Jones would like Doctor Who.
She probably would. She loves TV a lot. And there was a whole funny bit in this episode about her going to the cinema. It was really funny. But it was so touching at the end that they had, like, done a movie reel of, like, her life and, like, photos and video. And then Trixie was, like, at the end, you know, with wishing her happy birthday, and it was beautiful. And in the midst of all the, like, sobbing I had done, it was so sweet to have, like, that as the ending of Series 7. And then Season 9 of NCIS LA, they finally got Hetty out. She was being held captive, remember?
Yeah.
And Nell stepped to her sister and was like, she didn't say it this way, but she was like, "You will not bully me anymore." And then Murdoch Mysteries Season 11. This one was really tough to watch. They lost the baby to miscarriage, and now their marriage is falling apart. And it was very... I was, like, sitting on the couch sobbing because, I mean, we've talked about it before on the podcast, but the Hubs and I lost 3 babies to miscarriage, so it really... That was kind of hard to watch and hard to deal with. As soon as she, like, collapsed in the floor, I was like, oh no, why are they going this direction? So, I think next week is the season 11 finale, so we'll see what happens. And then I've listened to a little bit of our Spotify CC and Dammy Heart Musicals playlist, as well as the car playlist. What have you been listening to?
I'm finished with for 25th anniversary. Mostly just wishing you were somehow here again, because I'm trying to do it in my music lessons.
Your voice lessons, yeah.
Yeah, and lots of Cabin Pressure. I just put it on shuffle.
So, do you have any that you want to, like, spotlight this week? What one did you and Daddy listen to on Monday?
That was Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday.
Yesterday.
I
listened to Ipswich in, like, the first 3 minutes of Johannesburg. And then...
what happened in Ipswich? I don't remember.
Ipswich is the one where they go to have a refresher training course with the pool and Adrian the dummy burning merrily to a crisp. And Arthur holds onto Barton's belt, so they're going around in circles in the smoke-filled fuselage, not metaphorically.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that episode. That one is a really funny one.
Yeah. Johannesburg is the one where they go to get Diego from the airport at Albacete. 3 men went to mow a meadow. And Douglas washes a car.
I don't really remember this.
Do your Spanish conqueror. Kikariki!
I don't really remember this one.
And Martin with his aviator glasses. How do you not remember this?
I don't know, because it's...
Douglas and Martin tried to drop candy for Douglas's daughter's birthday party, but it solidified, and so it fell on a carp.
I have no recollection
of
this episode at all. At all.
Okay.
Well, that was an extremely long segment. So, let's move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about our March, April, May, Sheepy Spring Owl.
Yes. So this started on the 1st of March and it runs through the 31st of May. 3 main rules. It's for any Ravelry craft. It's for any project you knit, crochet, weave, or spin that you can convince us is related to spring. What's the fallback on that one, Dammy?
You made it in the spring.
That's right. Second rule, no whips are allowed. You have to start your project no earlier than the 1st of March and finish it by the 31st of May. And then the third main rule, this is the new rule for this time. For posting in the FO thread, your project must be at least 20 yards, 18.3 meters, or grouped in a single post with other projects that total at least 20 yards, 18.3 meters. So there was actually a really good one this week of a lady had made some coasters for her desk or for her living room or whatever, and she posted one of them and it was over 20 yards, and then she made a second one, she posted it and it was over 20 yards, but then the third one she made wasn't, and the fourth one she made wasn't, so she grouped the third and fourth one together because cumulatively they were more than 20 yards. That's exactly what we're wanting you to do. And then that post will count for one entry into the giveaway, whereas the single posts automatically are one entry. So, yeah. So feel free to poly dip in other alongs as long as it meets the rules. We have lots of lovely prizes on the screen right now. A huge thank you to all of our sponsors who donated prizes for this along. If you would like to donate a prize, you can PM me, Java Pearl and Ravelry, or email us at
geekygirlsnet@gmail.com.
If you want to know, to see bigger pictures of all these prizes or find links to the shops, to know more details about them, you can go to our website,
geekygirlsnet.com.
And we also talk about them in detail on the first podcast of every month. You have to be a member of the Geeky Girls Knit podcast group on Ravelry to participate. Hashtag is hashtag GGK Spring 18. We will lock the thread the morning of the 1st of June and draw prize winners on the next podcast after that. If you are a winner, you'll have 30 days to claim your prize or you forfeit it. There's a chatter thread in the Ravelry group where you can talk about what you're working on. And Dammy also gives shout outs there to people who finish projects, as well as shouting out to them here on the podcast. So Dammy, shout out.
Okay. Allie B Creations, Crafts Untold, DG White, Falling Star 12, Julie Pooley 71, Kana Soup, Carlene Page, Kersey S, Knit Central, Knitter Chow, Little Angel SG2, El McCall, Masterbox P248, Moe's Crochet, Mystery Sewer, Nana PEI, POKDEJ, Pukaz Lagrada, Rogue Robot, Tammy plus Hazel, and Travel Socks.
Way to go. So keep working on those projects and get them posted in the FO thread and you might be a winner. All right, let's move on to the next segment.
And now it's time for Ask the Geek Girls, a part of our show where you ask us things and we answer them.
That's right. What is this week's question, Dammy?
This week's question comes from Rhonda, who is dueling needles from Pennsylvania. After finishing up yet another pair of Cece's French Vanilla Cappuccino socks, I got to wondering which pattern of yours has been knit the most times by Ravelers.
Okay, so I separated this into paid patterns and free patterns. So I'm going to give you my top 5 paid patterns, the most number of projects. First is the French Vanilla Cappuccino socks. 335 projects have been done. 59 of them are mine. That's odd. Second is Peppermint Mocha socks. There's been 101 projects. The Coffee Date shawl and the Espresso Macchiato socks are both tied at 72 projects. And the Where You Lead, I Will Follow socks, which are Gilmore Girls inspired, is 67 projects. The of my free patterns, the top 2 are the Top Down Preemie hat, which has 358 projects. 212 of them are mine. And Cece's Vanilla Cappuccino socks, 308 of them have been done. 19 are mine.
That's better numbers than the hats.
Well, but if you combine the socks between my Vanilla Cappuccino socks and my French Vanilla Cappuccino socks, that's like 78 pairs.
Still, it's better than 212 or 358 hats.
But 212 preemie hats that I have knit and donated.
I know.
That is freaking awesome.
I mean, in comparison to other people who've made it.
Oh, yeah. But still, there's that's like 146, which is pretty awesome. So yeah. So those, and I'm going to link all these in the show notes. So if you want to go knit them up, you can. I expected, obviously, for the free patterns, I knew it was going to be the preemie hat and the socks. And I knew for the paid patterns that the French Vanilla Cappuccino socks was probably going to be up there. And I thought also espresso macchiato, but I didn't think the peppermint mocha ones would be so high. And
people buy them every Christmas.
Well, and they buy them throughout the year because they're a fun pattern that you can do on any color yarn. And I love that my Gilmore Girls socks are up there and the Coffee Date shawl are up there, so that's fun. So this is going to be one of the questions for this week in the Ravelry thread. Which of my patterns have you knit the most often? So I feel like there's probably several people who've knit a number of preemie hats or Cece's Vanilla Cappuccino socks or from Vanilla Cappuccino socks. So I'm curious. So that is a question for this week. Thank you so much, Rhonda, Dueling Needles. This was a fun question. I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So yeah, I enjoyed looking all that up. So if somebody has a question for us, what should they do, Dammy?
Go to our Ask the Geeky Girls thread in our Ravelry group and post it.
That's right. All right. We're about to review the new Pom Pom Quarterly.
And now we have a review.
All right. We are reviewing Pom Pom Quarterly. This is the spring 2018 issue number 24.
Yay.
And the theme of this issue is stamps. So, I thought it was really cool that they got yarn from the place where the stamp is from. Mm-hmm. So, first up, we're probably going to butcher names on these two.
Waffle.
Waffle by Carrie Helene Rain. And Norway is where the stamp is from. And so this is a lightweight waffle patterned short sleeve top with cable trim.
I think it's really cute.
It is really cute. So here we go. So there it is. I think there's actually more pictures. Yeah, there's a back picture. Okay. So this is in 6 sizes on 4-ply fingering weight yarn using US 2.5 3mm and US 7's 4.5mm needles. And it's worked flat in one piece beginning at the front hem and ending at the back hem. And then the front is divided, and along with that, the front is divided at the neck to work each shoulder separately before being rejoined to work the back. So
it's worked flat, but it's not seamed?
It's worked flat and then seamed, but it's worked from the front hem to the back hem. Interesting. And then I guess folded in half and mattress seamed, which means I probably would not knit it because I hate seaming up things. Next is the
Tête de Bêche by Verena Kors.
So this one is from Paris.
Paris.
I want to go to Verena translated the city's quintessential landmark into a geometric pattern band, and it's worked in the round with easily managed short floats alongside a clever folded brim.
It also looks like little bats if you look at it. Little pointy head and then the wings.
That is totally true. You could totally do this in black and orange.
Or it could be an alpaca, or it could look like a little bit like a kitty sitting on a bed. It's so many things.
It is. Okay, so this is in 3 sizes on sport weight yarn using US 4's 3.5mm and US 2.5 3mm yarns, and it's knit seamlessly in the round from the brim to the crown. It's worked with a provisional cast on that is then folded to join together to make the folded brim, and it's really cute. I like it. Mm-hmm. Next up is the
Vita de Vie
by Amy. I can't remember if it's Christophers or Christophers. This has been debated on podcasts before. I can't remember. So this
is one of my favorites.
Okay,
but also because I like the outfit too.
Yeah. This is inspired by chain letters.
Wait, which country is this from? Italy? This is Rosa Canina, so and Posta, so I'm assuming Italy.
I don't really know. Just stop.
It might say in the pattern section.
Well, it says Romanian
Oh.
machines.
Oh yeah, Romina.
Okay, yeah, okay. So it's Romania. It's got dolman sleeves and old world construction methods, like grafting pieces together and then picking up and knitting hems down. Let's see if so here it is. Other pictures of it. So this comes in 6 sizes. It is knit with sport weight yarn. It is on US 6s, 4 mil, and US 5s, 3.75 mil. So it's worked sideways in 2 halves from the sleeve cuff in towards the center, front, and back. And then the 2 sets of live stitches are joined using Kitchener stitch before sewing the side and sleeve seams, and then the hem and neckband are picked up to complete the sweater. There are several pieces in this issue that have really interesting construction.
Wait, what is that stitch in the chart?
Which one?
Oh, that's just a knit 3 together. It
Yeah.
looked different when I saw it.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then this is one of my favorites.
Durumi?
By Isabel Kramer. This is Korean, and it's using a crane. It's a symbol, which is a symbol of honor and fidelity. And they mate for life, and so they're featured in the traditional wedding attire and greeting cards, which is really cool. So this is knit from the top down with short roll shaping and finished with a folded collar. It's beautiful. It is.
The model's hair matches.
I know. I love it. I love it. I love it. I think there's another. And I adore her tattoo on her back right there, which I know has nothing to do with the pattern, but it is really pretty. Okay, so this is in 6 sizes with DK weight yarn using US 7s 4.5 mil and US 6s 4 mil needles. It's a yoke sweater, works seamlessly from the top down. Using short rows to create a slightly higher back neck. There's the color work band is just 13 rounds.
13 colors.
13 rounds. And then of course you put the sleeves on hold and work the rest of the body down and then pick them back up to work the sleeves. And they definitely suggest trying it on from time to time to check the fit and overall length, because it is knit from the top down. That is easy to do.
I like these bits, but their color work.
I think you could do them. So this is the Carimbo by Kelly Ordeman. It's
Portugal.
From Portugal. So Carimbo is the
Carimbo.
That one too, whatever. Is the rubber stamp that's used to postmark and cancel a used postage stamp. But she also reinterpreted. So she interpreted the stamp that features yellow trams as the like lines that you're about to see, but then they also saw it as like the stamp cancellation image. They're lightweight yarn mitts with high contrast colors. Okay, so that's the stamp right there. They're really, really pretty. So these come in 3 sizes. DK weight yarn, US 4 is 3.5 mil, US 2.53 mil. They're knit in the round from the bottom up with the thumb stitches held and picked up at the end. There's 2 different color work patterns, an all over speckled pattern on the palm and a series of vertical stripes on the back of the hand, and then the ribbing is worked in a 3rd complementary color. All right, next up we have a hat called the Cablegram by Jessie Roslin. These are from West German United Nations stamp. And it's an ode to international cooperation. And this is a beanie using textured cables. And it uses this really cool wrapped stitch detail. So can you see like right there where the wrap stitches are? So this is in 3 sizes on a light worsted weight using US 4's 3.5 mil needles. It starts with a ribbed brim and then the wrapped cable stitch pattern. The crown decreases maintain the wrapped cable pattern, which is really cool.
I can figure out how to do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was like trying to read through the wrap stitch instructions, and I had to like stop and be like, okay, wait, and pretend like I actually was doing it with my hands to make it work, because I mean, it's a really cool technique. So, this is the Perfin by Alice Kitano. From Brazil. And it has the stamp has perforated initials punched into the vignettes to foil the nefarious activities of fraudsters and thieves. So this is a double-breasted mesh cardigan, inspired by the glory days of airmail, and it has a lot of the pilot uniform detailing. And it has a strategic seaming for structure and a box pleat at the back collar for a 1960s feminine touch. I'm pretty sure there's more. Yeah. I like the buttons, like that there's 4 of them, like right there to make it for the double-breasted. Okay, so this comes in 7 sizes. It's knit with DK weight yarn on US 6's 4 mil needles. It's worked separately in pieces from the bottom up and then seamed. I'm sorry, I've got to take a drink. I've been talking a lot. And shaping takes place in chart B. And then there's a lot of really good details about how to place your markers to make it the most easy to get done. This is one of my 2 favorite patterns from the book, from this issue. Triskilling, I believe is how you say that, by Kristen Blom, and it is from Sweden. So the stamp is the most valuable stamp today. It's worth over $2 million because there's only one of them in the yellow color because it's supposed to be green. So there was like a thing.
Printing errors.
Yes. So this is an oversized top.
Cost millions.
Knit in linen yarn, and it's got a very, it's got subtle twists in the yoke.
I probably would have did it in linen, but I do like the neck and the yoke.
Yeah. So here is, I love the sleeve. So that's the stamp we were talking about. I believe there's more pictures on the next page. Yes. I love those sleeves. So this is definitely on my, yes, I want to knit this list. This comes in 5 sizes. It's meant to be worn with a lot of positive ease, which is awesome. It's knit in 4-ply fingering weight yarn, and it uses US 4 3.5 mil needles and US 2.5 3 mil needles. It's knit top down. The yoke pattern uses 2 stitch twists, which means you don't need a cable needle. And then body and sleeves are separated, sleeves put on hold. A faux seam runs down the back yoke. And then it's just talking about placing markers. Oh yeah, I didn't notice that there. That's really pretty. Okay, and then we have the Postmark Socks by Anna Campos. And Anna is the dyer of Toil and Trouble yarns, and she continues to sell my first Doctor Who pattern, Rescue Me Chimboy and Show Me the Star socks, with a skein of her yarn. I believe it's called Starry Starry Night. It's blues and whites, and it's very pretty. And so she designed this pattern. So this one is from Denmark, and she uses a graphic motif to reference the classic round shape of the Danish postman's bicycle wheels. And it's knit toe up with a gusseted short row heel. So here they are. Very, very pretty. And sorry, I didn't turn the pages. Oh, that's a pretty picture too. There you So these come in 3 sizes, knit with 4-ply fingering weight yarn on US 1, 2.25 mil needles. They're knit toe up using Judy's Magic Cast On, and the interlock bind off for a stretchy cuff. And they're really cute, and it's not difficult color work. And it's not for the entire sock, so I think that would make it more feasible to do. This is my other favorite pattern out of this issue. This is the Timbromania by Julia Farwell Clay. Britain. It was the first ever stamp, the 1840 release of the Penny Black. And
Timbromania is what stamp fondness used to be called. But
yeah.
I can't figure out why for some reason it didn't seem like a proper name for some reason, so they changed it to Philately.
Yeah. So,
yeah, there weren't that many Penny Blacks. They changed to Penny Red.
Yep. So there is a debate about correct gauge in this pattern. And it's an A-line shape with top-down construction. Okay, so here it is. I really, really like this. Let's see, I think there's more pictures. No. Oh, wait, there's one back here. Here we go. Okay, so this comes in 7 sizes on sport weight yarn using US 5's 3.75 mil needles and US 4's 3.5 mil needles. It's worked seamlessly from the top down, beginning with a provisional cast on. Separate the sleeves and body. Underarm stitches are added. Body sleeve sections work to desired length. And then the cast on is provisional cast ons unpicked and the live stitches used to work the neckband. Okay, so here's the debate about gauge. And it says, many knitters find their purl stitches are slightly larger than their knit stitches. To compensate for this in the short row section, and especially through the garter stitch coil panel, work purl rows with a needle a size smaller than your working needle. It's also useful to avoid flaring at the hems. Take time to swatch. So,
swatching is...
Yes.
Swatching.
Okay, so that's all the patterns. Okay, and then we have some articles, of course. So we have the Stamp Pick Throw article by Anna Maltz, and it is discussing the different words that are used for types of knitting. And she is proposing that we move away from continental and English as the titles and move it to picking and throwing.
Why?
Well, I'm not going to give away all the secret sauce, but it's talking about like some of the terms are like a wartime throwback and things like that. So it's a really interesting article that I had not even thought about. And I mean, like, the continent is continental, and so it was just a really interesting article. And then there's an article by Megan Fernandez called "Signed Stitch Delivered."
I'm yours.
When your knitting BFF is a whole world away. And look at that beautiful, beautiful thing. And so it's talking about several different knitters who are friends across the world, including Hoyi Locatelli and Vera Valamaki, and Emily and Alexa of Tin Can Knits, and now the editors of Pom Pom are now on different continents, Lydia Gluck and Megan Fernandez. So it's a really cute article about that. And then, of course, we have all the patterns that we've talked about. And then...
I want stuff from her shop, but like most of it is sold out.
Oh, wow. Probably because of this article. This is called On Flowers and Paper Power, an introduction by Lydia Gluck about Grace Chen's floral wreaths. And she cuts the paper to make the words that go in it. And there is some political stuff with this, so we're not going to go into politics because that's just not something we discuss on our podcast, but it's really, really interesting work, and I really am impressed. I've got a friend, an online friend that also does paper cutting, but hers tend to be images instead of words, and so I've been really, really interested in this technique, just seeing that work. And then for this issue's recipe, we have a pocket full of pies by Rebecca Lawrence, and it is for Mushrooms are the filling, but you could also change it and do like caramelized onions and butternut squash, or leftover ragu, or apples tossed in sugar and cinnamon. So it's just lovely. And then the info about the
Stamp collectors.
The designers and writers, and then the yarns.
Mr. Postman.
It's got about all the different. And there's the back cover. So, what do you think of this issue?
I like it. It's nice and bright and springy.
It is, and I wasn't sure when I was like reading
It's about stamps.
that it was about stamps. I was like, okay, where are they going with this? But there's some. I mean, this is full of really interesting techniques and ways of constructions of how they're knitting some of this stuff up, and some really cool spring items. So I give it 9 out of 10 stars. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay, so check it out. This is Pom Pom Quarterly, the spring 2018 issue number 24. All right, on to the next segment. We made it to the end of the show. Yay! Okay, so some reminders. Why is my mouse not working? There we go. One reminder is that we have a giveaway going on right now in the Ravelry group for 2 patterns. This is from Amanda, who is Skyly Knits on Ravelry. She had 2 new patterns, When You Think I'll Zig I Zag socks and Nala All Grown Up shawl. And we have a copy of each to give away. And so next week, right before we start recording, we will lock the thread and draw for 2 prize winners. The first winner will get the pattern that they mention in their post in the giveaway thread, and the second person will get the other pattern. And you'll have 30 days to claim your pattern if you are a winner. Otherwise, you forfeit it. And thanks again to Amanda for donating that. Second announcement is we have the Tickled Pink book pre-orders going on. So Tickled Pink is 2 designers, 4 indie dyers, Suburban Stitcher, Abstract Fiber, Neighborhood Fiber Co., and Seven Sisters Arts, and 8 Pinktastic patterns. So you can do your pre-orders at pink.javapearldesigns.com, and there's 4 different ways. You can do the physical book alone. You can do the physical book with a custom glass stitch marker by Ann Tudor and a button / badge designed by Julia Pandias Jules, or you can do the physical book with the stitch marker, the button badge, and a 6x9 inch Tickled Pink pouch with the image that Julia of Pandias Jules did for us, or you can order the ebook. All the physical books come with the ebook included. Your deadline to place your pre-order is Thursday the 5th of April, and there's no limit. I mean, you can continue all the way to that date. So, and then they will ship out no later than Thursday the 26th of April, which is also the day that the book will release live. If we can, we will send them out sooner, but if we don't, there you go. Third announcement, this Saturday, the 17th of March at 2 p.m., I am hosting an Essential Oils 101 class here in my house. I will put a link to the Facebook event in the show notes. If you are local and would like to come, I'd love to have you. Just let me know by RSVPing so I know how many people to expect. All right, any other announcements? Okay. We'd like to say a humongous thank you. We love you guys. To everyone who supports the podcast, whether that is financially, donating prizes, participating in owls, participating in the Ravelry, whatever. Geeky, Crafty, we are so grateful for each one of you. But a big thank you especially to those who support the podcast financially, because it costs money to do the podcast. Technology, prizes, shipping, etc. So there's 3 main ways you can do that. First is Patreon, which is a site where you pledge a certain amount a month and you get rewards based on your level. It's kind of like the PBS donation thing. If you want to know more about this or want to sign up, go to
Patreon.com/geekygirlsknit.
What's another way?
There's a PayPal button in the sidebar of our website if you would like to make a one-time donation.
And we are amazon.com.co.uk and .ca affiliates. If you click through our website first before you shop, we get a little money back based on what you purchase. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Great way to support the podcast by doing something you would be doing anyway. And with that, we're going to tell you goodbye. So, Dammy, where can they find us online?
They can find us at geekygirlsknit.com. There are the links to everywhere else we are online: YouTube, iTunes, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
All right. With that, we're going to say bye. We hope you have a lovely rest of your week. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we love you guys a lot. And we will talk to you again next week. Bye.
So I'm supposed to show you my theater wall, apparently. So. Ta-da!